Yeah. So I just saw in the chat someone said the clickbait game got me. Oh, there's no clickbait. There's no clickbait game here, my dude. This is a real story that I only found out about last night where I'm like, "Oh my god. This is a wild story." I don't even know how to interpret this. Like I'm kind of like, do I feel bad for them about this cuz this is a terrible story. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm sure you guys will have mixed feelings as well, you know? But I got sent a bunch of stuff that we're going to look at here during this stream. How's everybody doing? How are you guys doing in the chat? You know, I am nursing a level of soreness and pain that I am not used to because I don't know, actually. I trained really hard last night, and then I can't, like, my hip flexor feels like I'm 95 years old today for some reason. But yeah, we got a bunch of Andrew Wilson stuff to look at. Some other stories. There's this clip of Tyler Boyer saying something super bizarre about Mikey McCoy that we're going to look at also. So we'll get to all of it. You know what I mean? And I'm going to allow you guys to be looking at, some faces that are more attractive than mine telling stories. Joseph, thank you very much. Appreciate you, dude. You know? Czech relations, Lyman, and the explosion. Dude, someone was sending me something about the Mark Lyman stuff. It's about their son. It's not about their son. It's not about their son. Okay, so we're going to just rock and roll. All right. So, like I said, there's like tons of stuff that we're going to go through today, but it is my daughter's birthday, so I'm going to try to not dilly-dally, you know? So this is Danielle's Daddy Wells channel, and she has been putting together a bunch of stuff that she apparently, like, she's been giving shouts out to Brittany Venti, who is this lady right here who has apparently been doing like tons of stuff on the Wilsons. I'll actually start with her here, and then we'll get to the blackmail story because it is directly related to all of this. So we'll go like some historical stuff here, and then we'll get to that story. Check this out here. Right. This is like some backstory on their relationship because this is how this leads into the thing that happened.
Rachel Wilson has made claims about her baby daddy being abusive. I remember seeing it in passing. And she has zero proof, no police reports, no hospital records, never mentioned in divorce court against baby daddy number 2. Yeah, and that's the thing. If she wanted custody.
So, yes, it was my oldest daughter's birthday party when I left Elizabeth Lane's stream. It is my youngest daughter's actual birthday today. Thank you for asking. And Michelle, you mod for Dan? I absolutely will. I saw you doing a great job modding there the other night. I will take you up on that for sure. Have Dan connect us. Joseph D. Brizio, thank you, very generous. Jesse, one thing that doesn't make sense about your theory of Charlie being alive is why would he want organization to be run into the ground, and why would he want his wife and friends to still look like this? He wouldn't. He absolutely wouldn't. And by the way, everybody, I'm doing two, actually, you know what? Geez, that reminds me. 2 big announcements. Tomorrow I'm doing a stream with Didi Got a Podcast. He did a 3-hour stream about his theory, Charlie's alive, why he believes that, and then I did like a reaction to it. I'm actually doing a stream with him tomorrow at noon, so don't miss that. And I got booked on Timcast yesterday, so I'm going to be doing Timcast IRL on September 1st, so mark that down. I am very curious what they're going to want to talk about, you know, because Tim brings people out there to yell at them sometimes, and he's been pretty critical of people questioning the official story of the Charlie Kirk thing. And given that I have made no secret about what I think is going on here, I am expecting them to confront me hard. So I'm going to be like, oh, okay, let's do, listen, dude, we can do this, or we can be nice. I don't know. I have no idea what to expect, you know? Anywho, but so we're going to do it like that. But yeah, to actually understand the point that I've been making all along, I'm not going to talk about this. Like, you know, if you want to pay me $20 to ask me a question, I will always answer it. But yeah, I mean, like the key thing to understand is that I'm not saying that what is going on here is part of the plan at all. I'm saying this is a broken plan. This is a plan that went horribly awry for them, right? Like they had a plan. They did the plan for the first few weeks. Everything's going great. They're doing inside jokes with each other. They're on TV talking about Charlie being busier than he's ever been in heaven. And they're winking at each other. Woo, woo, woo. We pulled it off. The hose was supposed to go off under the shirt. It went out over his neck and no one even knew, like there's no problems. And then things started unraveling. And then it's like, oh shit. Okay. Well, how do we handle this? People, wait a minute. They think we actually murdered Charlie. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Scramble, 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 scramble. They did such a good job over here convincing him it was real that now that it looks like they might've done it, they can't, there's nothing. They're scrambling. I was thinking about this, like, you know, what do I know? Like this could all just be complete. I could be completely wrong. I am very open to that. But when people ask me that, they're like, why would he have done this to like what's going on now? And I'm like, he's got what would you do if you were in if that is what's going on? What would you do? What on earth would you do? You know? And it's like now, and like I was watching Candace last night and she was saying, she's all, this is what Charlie's organization's been reduced to. And like they're sending out Andrew Wilson to try to debate me. And when the thing first happened, right, people were very, very skeptical that TPUSA was going to survive, man. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, people were like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen to TPUSA because Charlie was such a critical component of that recipe. You know, it's like, what is there if it's not him? It's like, it's him and then a big, gigantic supporting apparatus. And they, you know, were moving forward. They had lots of money come in as a result of the thing and all that. And they're doing what they could do. But then now it's almost like you take Charlie off the board officially, you know, like, I mean, like the chessboard. Who is going to replace Charlie? Charlie's like a once in a generation talent. So it's like, okay, well, we need someone to go debate Candace. And it's like, all right, who you got? Like, who do you suggest? Like, who is there? You know what I mean? It's like a matter of like, it's been reduced to that because Charlie, it cannot be Charlie. So who's it going to be? You know what I mean? And Jojo says, I'll pay $20 to tell you this shit. Have a good day. Great day with your fam later. Thank you very much. You are amazing. And I really appreciate that. By the way, anybody who ever sees anybody in like other people's comments that are talking shit, they're like, why you do content with Jesse on Fire? I would appreciate it if you would go and respond to that and tell them to go fuck themselves, because it's the same group of these little geeks that had followed me around for 5 years. They do it anytime I'm on someone else's channel. That's literally the only time where I'm like, are you guys fucking serious? Like, I don't care when they do it on my channel. I actually don't care when they do it on other people's channels either. But someone, you know, like someone was asking me about it yesterday. I'm like, dude, like, I think that when they started doing it, it was an attempt to like make me like not make it. It clearly did not work. However, they're still doing it. And now I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Like, at least just go tell them to go fuck off. You know what I mean? Okay. So now let's get to the actual story here and we'll rock and roll.
And she wanted things to go in her favor at that point.
Oh, sorry. And anybody who just jumped on, what on earth? What the? Oh, shit. Sorry, you guys. I that was actually really important. Hang on. I got to send this to Gabrielle. Gabrielle! I think that was the sleep number of people calling me. All right, here. I'm going to send it to you right now. Sorry, I'm yelling into the microphone, you guys. That's actually really important in my actual life. God damn it. Here, you. Oh, of course. Here, Gab, I'm going to send it to you right now. Oh, all right. Hang on. The first time that now that I have a lock on my studio to keep my little ragamuffin kids out, that's been an issue. Sorry, you guys. Anyway, okay, so this is backdrop because we're gonna get to the blackmail story, but this is all kind of backdrop with the Wilsons and all that stuff.
Rachel Wilson has made claims about her baby daddy being abusive. I remember seeing it in passing, and she has zero proof, no police reports, no hospital records, never mentioned in divorce court against baby daddy number 2. Yeah, and that's the thing. If she wanted custody and she wanted things to go in her favor, at that point, you would mention it if you were abused. You absolutely would mention it. So I don't believe her. This sounds like bullshit. And it's very important for me to point out here that Sloppy Rachel, just like Andrew Wilson, is very deceptive in her wording about the baby daddy situation. As we see, she herself admits that she's only been married twice, but according to the court records, she has 3 baby daddies, meaning the first one was not a marriage. So what's her excuse for that? Was he also abusive? Were both baby daddies abusive? So she likes to bring up, well, my prior marriage was abusive, as a way to kind of sweep it under the rug to make it seem like, no, I'm not a hoe. You don't understand. I'm not like those other hoes. Meanwhile, she's not mentioning if baby daddy number 1 that she wasn't married to, that she had a kid with, or 2, I forget, I'm losing count, and what her excuse is there, because she's over here saying, well, actually, if a wife is abused and battered, it should be treated differently, as a way to excuse herself, which I agree, it does change the circumstances, but she has no evidence of it, and furthermore, she's been dismissive of other people's situations like that. She's like, oh, well, how do we know they're not just equating male authority with abuse? So I asked, using her logic, how do we know that Rachel Wilson wasn't just equating male authority with abuse, considering there's no paper trail to support her claims, despite going to court with baby daddy number 2 that she claims was abusive, because that's the one she was married to, and went to court with to try to take the son away from his father. You know, like a feminist would. And she wants to be seen as the exception, but not for other people. Sloppy Rachel is pretty dismissive when other people get abused and how it lands them into bad situations. So I think it's pretty hypocritical that she wants everyone to excuse her behavior when she doesn't give that same grace to other people as a Christian. And she uses it in her branding and tells other people how to live, etc., etc. But no, you can't bring up that she has 3 baby daddies, because she says that she was abused by one of them, which she didn't bring up in court for her custody of her child, which would be endangering a child if that were true and he was abusive.
That's a headshot right there, by the way. I hadn't even heard that part. Like, first of all, I knew that it was almost certainly shaky at best, because the context that I heard that story in initially was from the, because like this, for the record, like this is, if people have been paying super close attention to this world over here, some of this stuff is probably going to be redundant or whatever, but it's like, I mean, this is all brand new to me. And when the girl in the clip that he called about the schniz girl licking schniz, whatever, when she responded on X, and she was like, Rachel said that she had apologized for her misinformation. And she's like, the only thing I apologize for is Rachel told me that she had been, that this had happened to her with her second person. And I'm like, wait. The girl, like, whose name is like Rachel is for the patriarchy, played the, oh, well, you shouldn't have talked about that because I was abused. I'm like, that is like exactly the opposite of everything that you pretend your brand is. That's super weird, right? So then when she's talking about this, and I found out more stuff about their kind of, I don't know, custody battle stuff, which normally I don't even get into this stuff. It's only when it's like, the only time I'll really even talk about this stuff is if it's a person is presenting themselves and like their whole entire core brand is one thing, and then it turns out it's the other. Like the reason why that Akash Singh story was so viral is for the same exact reason. It's like he talked for years about how, listen, like my wife and me, or my wife lost her V card to me, and she's so saintly and pure and whatever. And then she gets on the internet and she's all, oh my God, I have been imagining what it would be like to see if my co-host's penis would fit all the way down my throat. You're all, wait, what? She's all, I'm just saying, like, we could do like a foursome. You're all, you want your husband to sleep with your co-host? She's all, I mean, I just don't care about that. I want to see what that's like. And I know he's got a 10-inch dick. And you're like, what? What did you just say? Because guess what would happen if Akash had been like, yeah, me and my wife are swingers for 2 years. And then she said that. Nothing would have happened. Not a single thing would have happened. Okay. So it's like, and like, to be honest, like looking at Akash now, I actually take no pleasure in, he looks like he's really fucking going through it. But like, I can't help it. It's like, all right, so, oh wait, okay. So you think, there's some clips I'm going to show you here where Rachel's talking about how women should be grateful because the men in society, like because the men could just beat them and kill them if they wanted to, or like they could just grape them, kill them, whatever. And they should just be grateful that we don't do that. Like there should be some gratitude in the West because the men don't just beat and grape the women all the time. You probably think that I'm making that up, but I'm not. And I'm going to prove it to you actually. And then I'm going to tell you why that is one of the most ludicrous, like one of the most ludicrous things I've ever heard. It's so stupid. It's so stupid that I can't even wrap my brain around it, and I'll tell you why. A lot of people, like when you first hear it, you're like, I guess that's true. And then you think for one more second, you're like, oh, okay, I could destroy that argument. But anywho, I'll let her finish here. And this is all getting to the blackmail thing. Because I'm sure a lot of people maybe have heard that's the blackmail thing. It's fucking crazy though.
Conveniently omits baby daddy number 1. So what's her excuse there? Was he abusive too or what? I have no reason to believe her.
All right. So that's kind of like, lying, right? Okay. So let me see where that clip, you know what? I'll just do it from Danielle's video, which just disappeared. Oh, there it is. All right. So this is the video from Daddy Wells. And I'll do super chats after this segment. Okay. So this is Daddy. This is Daddy Wells' video. And she is going to get into the blackmail story right now. Then I'm going to show you guys the whole thing about like, be grateful that we do, the men don't grape you, kill you, all that stuff. But this is leading into the blackmail story.
You actually have principles. I think you have a set of rules that you use to judge people that you don't like. And once we go down this Andrew and Rachel rabbit hole, you guys will see that this is anything but a traditionally conservative couple. They are awful. There is so much going on here. I have seen multiple videos on Andrew in the past couple of days.
Again, this is Daddy Wells' channel. Let me show you what it looks like. So you guys go give her a follow. She does great content, man.
And most of these videos are barely scratching the surface. So today I want to get into both of these slobs. So we're going to start off with Rachel Wilson. Since his wife constantly wants to insert herself in his online drama, his online debates, she even calls into the Whatever podcast to defend her husband when he's on there getting roasted. And she calls in to argue with sex workers. Great use of her time. Now, his wife having 3 baby daddies is unfortunately not even the craziest thing about her, because Rachel has allegedly pimped out their virgin teenage daughter to a bunch of creepy old men on Twitter. These are some of the tweets she posted. She was talking about her daughter.
And by the way, I am very curious. Oh, sorry, Danielle. Let me. There's a bunch of sickos in my chat that were going to say nasty things about that image. I am going to be very curious what the chat thinks of this next section and the nature of these expos. I personally, as a father of daughters, find it like completely batshit on a level that I kind of I don't actually have the words to enunciate.
But she says, I have a nose ring. I know it's frowned upon. I'm not a nun. I'm a real person. But she's talking about her daughter, 98% dream wife for a groiper. If that's not good enough, feel free to scroll on. She then posts her daughter's body count 0. And I just have to say, never in my life has my mom gone on the internet to brag. Like, even when I was underage, she would never in a million years brag to her friends about me being a virgin. She would never talk about my virginity or anything like that. This is disgusting. So then she posted where they live, and I'm not going to post that, but she says, this is where I live. That's why I was scouring the internet for suitors for my daughter, LOL. And apparently this must have been successful because her daughter then got engaged to a groiper who turned.
I want to pause that so everybody can see that and read it, because this actually happened. Okay. So she posts the thing marketing her daughter to groipers, right? I got no beef with the groipers, but like, my point being that it's a large group. It's like a real large group of like young dudes. And I would imagine if the groipers were asked, what do you think about a mom who would like market her daughter to a big group of dudes, groipers or other? What do you think of that behavior? Something tells me that the entire group would be like, that's fucking insane. Because it is. Like, what? Just like, oh, she's perfect for a groiper. And by the way, guys, she has 0 body count. You're all. First of all, how do you know that for sure? Second of all, I can only interpret that as you will be the first one to deflower her if you're interested. Like, I honestly don't think saying that it's pimping her out is even being super hyperbolic when she's saying it. Like, that sounds so fucking crazy to me, right? Insane. Okay. So then, and if you look here, look, like this is, if you look at the post right there, it says, what? And it says, laughing, Zoomer theosis. You know me better than that. This is them. None of my daughters have had any children yet. And she posts this, like, that's the daughter and the dude that she got with, apparently getting engaged. And you're going to see later, because the daughter is going to come forward later and confirm that her mom pushed this dude on her.
Around and blackmailed their family with the daughter's nudes. Andrew himself even talked about it in this clip.
And my daughter was deflowered by a groiper or some shit. Okay. And further, that there's blackmail on yours truly. Let's go over what their evidence is. Their evidence is that Rachel made a bunch of tweets joking around with some guys from the AF community on Twitter publicly. They've shown no proof at all to this allegation that her virginity was offered up online and then she was deflowered by somebody. Prove it, motherfucker. Prove it.
Leading up to a debate I had scheduled with Ethan Ralph, with Big Tech, I got a call from my daughter's ex-boyfriend, and he basically threatened me.
There you go. From the daughter's ex-boyfriend, who is the dude who the mom, like, and you'll see in a second, made her go out with.
Right. He said that he was going to do horrible things to me and my family. He's going to do horrible things to her. He said, it's because Fuentes is my king, and you're going after my king, and I'm going to do horrible things to you. Right. Essentially, you show up to that debate, I'm going to do horrible things to you, horrible things to your daughter. And I asked the guy, so what do you want? And he's like, you don't show up to that debate, and you shut your mouth about AF, period. But he's like, if you show up to this debate, if you show up, I'm going to ruin her entire life.
By the way, shout out to.
So again, guys, just to make sure that everybody picked up on what that story just was, and we're not done with it yet, by the way. Rachel, and honestly, to be crystal clear, I didn't hear Andrew do anything wrong in this entire story, right? Like, I'm not just like I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? Like, He has done nothing wrong in this story that I've seen. His wife, on the other hand, okay, for whatever reason, she's engaging with blah, blah, whatever. She advertises that her daughter is a virgin and she wants, oh, she's a perfect, whatever. She ends up pushing, she gets DMs from someone. She meets one of them online. She pushes her daughter on the guy. They end up getting engaged, having sex, first one. Subsequently, Andrew's going to do a debate. That guy has pictures and videos of the daughter, and then he blackmails him and says, if you show up to the debate, I'm going to destroy her life and your families. That is fucking crazy town, dude. God, dude. I swear to God. Hey, I fucking dare someone to do that. You're the ex-boyfriend, you're engaged. I know exactly who you are. I would fucking skin you alive, dude. I would skin you alive. 2 years later, too. 2 years. I would go, all right, I won't show up to the debate. Hey, man, listen, don't do anything crazy. Take a back step. 2 years later. That's like, it's like one of those things where it's like 7 days. Take videos and pictures of my virgin daughter and then threaten to release them. I fucking dare you, dude. God damn it. I just ruined this stream again. But don't do that. That would be a death sentence for you. Anywho, sorry, I just I literally just like in my mind think, what if someone did that to me? And then I vomit my emotions out of my mouth. I apologize. I'm embarrassed now. I am legitimately embarrassed. I'm going to do super chats and try to distract everyone from the fact that I just said those things out loud. Okay. Andrew Wilson's my favorite Army sniper instructor. Hey, there's going to be some new information about that coming out today on Valhalla VFT's channel. You're going to want to look for that. Michelle says, I tell everyone not to disrespect other streamers on people's channels. That's good, dude. The only thing, yeah, I mean, like and I saw someone say like they're bots, ignore them. I actually know that 90% of them are bots for a fact, and I know who programmed the bots. And I still stop talking, Jesse Empire. A-Bards, thank you very much. Who currently at TPUSA is pushing Christian talking points? And secondly, what are those Christian talking points they discuss regularly? I don't, honestly, I'm the wrong person to ask about that. I see, I feel like kind of the, I feel like the problem with what all of us on the internet do who are content creators is we are very easily kind of manipulated into talking about specific things because the numbers are so clear. It's like, if you talk about this, you will see your numbers go like this. All of it, the thing that's most important to all of us is the success of this thing that we're building. And so it's a dance to make sure that you never cross a line where you feel like you've done something that's against your principles, which I have never done. And at the same time, it's not that hard to control what somebody's going to talk about because it's like, okay, here. And the problem is that conflict is what people are entertained by. So it's like you end up only covering. It's like you think I'm not watching what TPUSA is doing when they're just like at a college having a conversation or what they're doing. It's like everything that we see is all like hand selected with a very specific purpose, which is to drive, well, some people are like really after them. Other people are just covering things that are big stories and whatever, but there's just no way to there's no way to answer that with you're not paying attention to what they're doing when they're not doing something that's being sensationalized. Prophet, thank you very much. If CK is still alive and in charge of TPUSA now, which is attacking Candace, what if Candace is supposed to win this to launch her own Iron Lady phase that he foresaw in her? Just a thought. Oh, I've thought about that quite a bit, actually. A lot. I've thought about that a lot. And I've entertained so I don't know if you guys watched the video that I did yesterday about you know what? Maybe I'll show that actually. Cause like, okay, so the video I did yesterday was about that new roof footage. And at the end of the video, I just took a piece of evidence that was new to me. And I literally just started talking out loud pretty much with the intention of cutting it. But first, I just kept on kind of going through it. And I'm like, this is actually this is an actual illustration of like how I approach these things. It's like I just was talking out loud as I was thinking about it. And so I just left it in. But it's like the last like 6 minutes of the video. So I'm sure barely anybody saw it. But I'll show it later because it demonstrates how I look at each new piece of information. And it's like, okay, so if that, then. But with the, with this, it's like I've entertained all the way to Charlie is intentionally dismantling TPUSA because of XYZ. I have no idea if that's accurate. And they have to, they have to make it believable that this is happening organically and whatever. And then it's like, okay, or maybe I've thought of literally every single option, that being one of them. And of course, a big option, I'm just wrong. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just wrong. I'm old. What WTF is a groiper? Groipers are the most kind of like ardent, hardcore fans of Nick Fuentes. Very powerful group on the internet you don't really want to fuck around with. I think Andrew Wilson is gay. Listen to his voice. I don't know, man. Hey, sent you a message on X. Okay, I'll go check that out afterwards. Okay, hopefully everyone doesn't remember what I was doing before I
Brittany Venti. I am getting the majority of these clips and the majority of this information from her. I have been watching her for years and went down the Andrew Wilson rabbit hole years ago, but I'm absolutely going to link her channel in the description of this video because she has multiple deep dives on Andrew Wilson as well as Rachel, and she does a great job. I mean, this girl knows everything there is to know about Andrew. She even knows everything they eat. Okay, she has counted. She was trying to figure out why they're both so fat. And she counted their calories from each meal with the disgusting ass food that Rachel.
That, I'm just going to say, sounds completely psychopathic. I don't know if that's just me, but if you get into a place where you're analyzing people's calorie intake, that on my side is like, okay, like now you're like back at like, scale it back a little bit. That's batshit, No shade, Brittany Venti. Okay. But that just sounds crazy. I didn't even see the segment, but that sounds totally batshit to me. But there's a part about the kid telling her side of the story coming.
Makes for her husband, which is fair. I mean, she claims to be this, traditional wife who sits at home and makes meals for her husband all day, but these meals are disgusting, heavy and greasy as hell. Anyways, please go check out Brittany Venti. She does a phenomenal job. So it turns out Rachel's daughter actually ended up, and this is, by the way, Rachel's daughter. This daughter is not her daughter with Andrew, okay? Although perhaps if it had been Andrew's daughter, maybe he would be treating the situation a little bit differently. But anyways, Rachel's daughter actually ended up making a TikTok about this whole relationship that she had with a 27-year-old man, by the way, when she was 18 years old, freshly 18 years old. So she says, and Brittany covered her face, so thank God for that. But it says, me, when I remember, I almost married a 27-year-old man from New York that I only met 3 times because my parents wanted me to. And then she captioned it, I was freshly 18, by the way. I just have to say, I don't really care if Rachel was joking about her daughter's body count on Twitter, if that whole tweet was a joke. I don't think that's something we should be joking about, our children's virginity. I mean, sue me. I guess I'm just crazy, but friends in the chat, you guys with children who are about 17, 18 years old, please let me know. Is this something appropriate to joke?
I'll just come over the top of that and say the age is irrelevant. It's just weird. Like that is just weird, man. All in weird. Yeah. I don't have a God or a God. Like I'm unaffiliated, dude. I am unaffiliated. I just call balls and strikes and I do stories that I know people will be interested in. And people are for sure going to be interested in that story that Rachel, advertised her daughter's virginity. Then she ended up pushing her into a relationship, which then deflowered her and then subsequently, apparently, allegedly blackmailed by the dude. And again, these are all just reports from other people. I have no way of verifying any of this stuff aside from what they put together but what they've put together is pretty convincing. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so she did say this. Here's them engaged. Here is the daughter saying that this happened. And here is Andrew telling the story himself that the ex-boyfriend threatened to ruin their lives and destroy the daughter. And it was, he said, he called the guy her ex-boyfriend. I mean, you know, that is a much stronger case against, you know, that guy that did this, you know, allegedly, than the case against Tyler Robinson. See what I did there? See what I did? There's one more part of this, I'm pretty sure, and then we'll move on to some of the other stuff about this story that's in other clips.
Is this something you guys as parents would joke about on Twitter about your daughters being virgins? Please let me know if I'm out of line here. But I personally just don't think that this is something that is appropriate to talk about at all, ever. So to make matters worse, she then claims that she was abused and assaulted for 2 years. And Brittany Venti actually did the math, and apparently she was abused by another guy. So this wasn't the same groiper that she was talking about in the previous TikTok. But I mean, come on. Rachel pimped her out when she was barely 18 years old to some guy on the internet, some groiper. Are we really going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she didn't hook her daughter up with this guy as well?
I mean, either way, if kids do what they see, I'll just say it like that. And that's not an implication that Andrew is abusing Rachel, by the way. I'm saying that, like, if the mom is playing the, I was, you know, this guy did this to me card to kind of like when she gets put in a spot, who knows, you know, who knows? I do want to show you guys this one thing though, about like where she said, where she's talking about how like women should be grateful that men don't just like grape and kill the women in the West. And the reason is because I have such a good response to that I really want to say it. And I want to make sure that everybody sees it. Like, I'm not making this up. She really said this.
You want to vote? You sign up for the draft. You want equality? Then we need 50% of women in wastewater treatment, garbage collection,
oil rigs,
work,
underwater welding,
all the dirty, dangerous, difficult jobs. No, it's not just the cushy office jobs. No. We want you in there, ladies. You need to get in there and do 50%. Yes. You should be digging graves and ditches. You should be embalming dead bodies. You should be anything that the men are doing that's dirty, dangerous, and difficult that makes this country run. Equality is when 50% of those jobs are held by women.
Look at oh my God. That is so funny, dude. Because it's like, hey, like, I'm not saying that that this talk track is Crazy Town or anything, but look at this, dude. This is he's like, this is what was being debated normally. They're like, this person is what his normal like debate opponents were. He's like, why don't you go ahead? He's like, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and count to 7? She's like, 7? So go ahead and count to 7. She's like, can we start with something at least like a little bit more entry level? He's like, count to 4. She's like, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's like, good. Now let's get it up to 7. She's all, I don't think I can. He's all, that's why you're stupid and why men should be patriarchally running the country. Perfect example of women in America. But the point about the ditch jobs is not like, you know, it's not like a completely, what's the right word? That's not like a completely in outer space comment by any stretch of the imagination. Like, there's a reason why society up until very recently was men go out and hunt for food. Women take care of home at home. Men do hard thing, kill things, because you had to go out in the jungle and throw spears at shit. That's how you kill things. So obviously you're going to be like, who are the fastest, strongest? These guys. Cool. And the whole thing, my biggest problem with the idea that this was, that like society was set up in with women in this kind of, I don't know, what's the right word? Like a secondary citizen in the workplace idea is because, of course, yes, that was the way that it was 50, 60, 70, whatever. But that's why. is because historically, before the Industrial Revolution, and then as things got more, things became more automatic to get done and everything became easier, it's literally just an extension of like hunter-gatherer or working on a ranch. The guys do the hard, heavy stuff. The women do the other stuff. The guys don't want to do that shit either. And honestly, that's going to be my response to her. Like, oh, they should be grateful, that they're not getting, the guys don't just grape and take it from them. They should be grateful for that. It's like, oh yeah. So should the guys be grateful that the women don't poison their food? Fucking idiot. It's the dumbest argument ever. Oh, they can win. Hey, listen, the guys, they could just beat them up and take it. It's like, okay, well, every time a guy goes to a place to get food prepared, a woman could slip arsenic in it. And once, or some kind of thing to put him to sleep, and then they could decapitate them while he's sleeping. Like, what are we talking about? Like, so dumb. That's a dumb argument. Anywho, but this chick, probably not the best one to deliver that message, in my opinion. You know what I mean?
Then shut the up with your women's equality bull.
Like even the time where Andrew humiliated Rachel on a podcast, saying that he forced his wife to take a paternity test. And it's like, okay, like if you want to do that in your marriage, fine. But why does he need to share this with the entire world? Why does he need to like embarrass his wife like this? This is not normal.
I have what I would consider 100% faith and trust in my wife. But I told her, I told her these words exactly. You're going to get the fucking test. And if not,
because we're going to show clips of Candace later in the stream. We're 40 minutes into a stream, guy. Relax.
I'm out the door, period.
And I wonder why. Come on. I wonder why he would make Rachel take a paternity test, because whether they want to admit it or not, Rachel is promiscuous. There's no denying that. 3 baby daddies, multiple husbands. There's no other way around it. Okay. And obviously he doesn't trust her. Otherwise, why would he make her take a paternity test? And another reason is because their relationship is very messy. So,
dude, okay, that's probably enough. I kind of feel guilty. I'm not trying to like fucking smash it, but like, he's like, I have 100% faith. I have 100% faith in her, but I did tell her take a paternity test or get the fuck out. You're all. Wait, hang on. Do you have 100% faith and trust in her, or did you tell her to take a paternity test? Because there's those two things are polar opposites. Those are the opposite ends. This is like, that actually is a very like accurate representation of what I've seen. This guy is someone I was barely even aware existed 2 weeks ago. This is all new. So like, if this is all like well-known stuff, then, blame it on me not really knowing who he was. And again, I'm not trying to like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Whatever. But again, what I've seen is someone who like says shit that's not true. And again, unless my buddy is unable to find records, like this is not the only claim he's made that's like completely not true. But that right there is like, if for that sentence to come out of your mouth is fucking crazy. I have total faith and trust in my wife. And then the next words that he said were, but I told her to take a paternity test or get the fuck out. You're all. 100% faith and trust means that if she says you're the only person I was with, then that's the answer. That's 100% faith and trust. There's no need to do a paternity test to confirm that some other guy didn't put his seed in your lady. Okay. Like you can say, listen, I want to say it's good to have, faith and trust in your wife, but what you should do is trust, but verify. Right. So even if she says it, it's like, okay, look, I can believe you, but my principles require me to have you take a paternity test. It's like, all right. And maybe that's what he said. That said, those two things are diametric opposites, diametric opposites, I've made no secret of this, dude. I've been together with Gabrielle for the first time we hooked up would be December 29th this year, 20 years ago. So a long fucking time. And when we were first together, I observed her chat logs for like two years. Dude. Like I would just let, I have enough self-control. Like I would never confront her about anything, whatever. I would just look and watch because I just allowed her. It's like she had a couple ex-boyfriends she talked to, and it's a good thing. This is a good way for me to vet this chick that I'm probably going to marry. So I let her talk to them because there are exactly 0 straight ex-boyfriends who are going to be talking to their ex that looks like her that are not going to try to fuck her. That's not a thing. Like, that's a thing. You know, for 100% sure, they are going to make a pass at her. There is no question. That is absolutely for sure. There are 0 22-year-old dudes with that ex who talk to them and are not going to try to bang. That's just a thing that's going to happen. And they did, and she shut them down every single time instantaneously. Instantaneous shutdown. And so I would just watch. I only even had to get involved one time when her ex asked to see her tits after she got her, she got her boobs done or whatever. And I was like, how am I going to handle that? Because I'm obviously not going to confront her, because that makes me look like a pussy who's insecure, and also, makes me look like I'm reading her stuff, but I can't let that slide. So what am I going to do? So what I did is the following day, she was at school. She was getting her master's. She was at school, and I just hung out at home from work. That I didn't go into work, and I just waited. I knew he was going to message her, obviously, and obviously she shut it down when he did it, and she, like, just complete, like, whatever. But so he was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "We'll call him Ronnie." I was like, "Hey, Ronnie, this is Jesse. You and Gabrielle are friends. I allow that, and I have no problem with it. Talk to her as much as you want. The next time you ask to see her tits or any slick shit like that, I'm going to drive to LA and I'm going to cut your heart out of your chest." And then I just signed off. And I knew he was just going to have to sit there and look at it without even having the ability to respond. And he sent her, and because it's a 2-pronged thing. It's like, A, don't think you have some backdoor fucking channel to my wife, and B, don't ever ask to see my girls. Since we literally got married very, very soon after that. She lived with me. And then he sent an apology or whatever to her email. I said, "It's all good, dude." And then I deleted the thread, deleted those chats, and then didn't say anything to Gabrielle about it for 6 months. So he just kind of disappeared for a while. And she's like, because it wasn't like a secret that she talked to him. She's like, there's something going on with Ronnie. Like, he like disappeared. And I'm like, weird. 6 months later, after that happened, I was like, "Hey, so do you want to know why that happened?" She's like, "What?" And I told her. And I know her well enough. If I would have told her right after, she would have been super mad. But she got mad for a second, and I just looked at her. I'm like, "Oh, so where you think, you don't like that?" Because in that sense, it's like, I don't let people, I'm never going to let a dude ask to see my fucking girls. Like, he took a hard pass at you, overt pass at you. I punked him. He disappeared, and I had enough self-control to not bring it up for 6 months. I literally watched her little brain move. Like, it was just like, I have nothing but respect for that move. Wow. So there's no shame in trust but verify. I haven't looked at anything of hers in a decade, longer. But nonetheless, okay, so let's go to, let's move over to here. All right. I do feel guilty now. Like, I have all these clips of it, and I'm like, ugh. All right, here you go. This is the thing that this woman said about Mikey McCoy that I find very, very bizarre, dude. Okay, check this clip out. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me do super chats real quick. My bad. And then we'll watch that clip. Okay. Have you ever considered that, dude, listen, and everybody, anybody who has questions about the Charlie Kirk, like, fake hoax death theory, again, tomorrow at noon, me and Didi Got a Podcast are doing a stream. I'm expecting it to go very, very long, and we'll have you. Not only you'll get to ask me, you get to ask him, because again, it's just a theory, dude. It's like, but a theory that is very easily defensible and is hard to poke a hole in once you look at it holistically. Adam, what's up, Adam? Adam, have you considered that maybe Charlie was blackmailed into faking his death either before? Yes, I have. Either before or after. Makes even more sense. I have considered that the situation that he had put himself in with, the blue and white team led to them having to do it, or him agreeing to do it, or whatever, where I mean, I don't know. I always just try to put myself in certain situations and then try to imagine what I would do. And it's like, if I go to some meeting, I've taken millions of dollars from them and they think that they own me and they're like, you know, putting pressure on me. And I'm like, I'm not going to break my principles. And then who knows, maybe you get word that they are going to whack you out, dude. They're going to whack you out. And then so, you know, what choice, maybe even make a deal with them that you will leave the leadership and they're in on this whole thing because the intention was to unify the right in the direction of fighting against the radical left, as opposed to focusing on Gaza, which is that is their core issue, and whatever's going on with the files. It's possible that was a collaborative effort. And whenever people are like, oh, Charlie would never do this, I'm like, do what? They're like, oh, he would never put himself in a position where he would never see his kids and he would never see his wife and he would, you know, whatever. I'm like, I don't understand why people think that that's what would happen. I'm saying, if you look at what is going on in the world and Charlie's position in these circles, whatever is unfolding right now in terms of AI systems getting put in place, the global, you know, effort that is between, you know, these power players, there are people who are going to be put into positions where, as this grows, they're going to become so wealthy that it's hard to even wrap your brain around. Billions of dollars. What I think is that, if I'm right, Charlie saw this as he can put himself in a position of such tremendous influence that it will way surpass anything that he could do at TPUSA, because he understands how the game is played. And if he is one of the ones who has the billions of dollars to fund these different projects, whatever, he's now an invisible hand behind the entire system. And because he's dead, he's untouchable also. Okay. It's the exact opposite of what people think. It's the exact opposite. You have to be able to visualize how the system actually works. The system, if you can't tell, where you kind of look around, you can't figure out, you're like, why, no matter what we do, is everything staying the same? Why is it always staying the same? It's like, it's because the interests of the people are only served as so much as people get elected into positions of power. And these politicians are not considered high positions in the real circles, the billionaires that run everything. Like, they're literally just their proxies. That's all they are. Now, sometimes you get exceptions to the rule, like Dick Cheney. That's a very different thing. Sometimes these guys that are real gangsters, they get into positions where they're on both sides of the fence. But most of the time, they're like, you know, they say what they need to say in order to get elected. They give people the, you know, what they need to give them in order to gain that position. But in reality, the people who really run the show are the billionaires. And for Charlie to be in a position like that with his fucking brain and the financial resources to actually push and pull, like, it's right now is probably very challenging to watch TPUSA, whatever. But in the long run, he will be one of the gigantic power players, completely untouchable, because on the official record, he's dead. And the whole thing is that the stuff with with his kids and his wife, I have no idea why anyone would assume that he would not be with his wife and his kids if this is correct. And it could all be wrong. Could all be completely wrong. Charlie isn't dumb enough to think faking his death is a good idea for any reason. Well, sorry, I think I answered that a second ago. What I meant to say is tricked into it, then blackmail. Totally possible. And also, I will say this too, like, on the other side of the thing is, what I had assumed would be that it was his idea initially. Origin story of said idea would have been the fact that he was getting targeted by Jack Smith, and he's like, you know, spends a year thinking about how he's going to potentially be in prison, then comes up with this idea, and then everybody gets on board. Obviously, everyone would have to be on board with the idea. But in the event that is what happened, I could see a world where his control would be vastly diminished at current state, like over TPUSA, because this huge play that he orchestrated went so wrong that, and he doesn't have a voice to put into the center of what's actually happening. Like, that's having a voice is such a tremendous source of power if you are a person like that. Like, Candace is clearly tremendously influential, But if you say, okay, Candace, now exert your influence. The only thing you can't do is be on camera, tweet, or talk. Then what? It's a totally different role. And that's what I'm saying is like in the event that Charlie wanted to graduate to the next role, it's possible that's what his vision was. But as it relates to the current state, maybe he has less influence than he thought he would have. You know what I mean? This is Charlie's Doge audit. I think personally, and again, this is all, we're going to cover all this stuff tomorrow. But again, I cannot stress this enough. This could all just be totally wrong. I'm only answering from the position of my height. Like if this is what's going on, then this is a likely, reason. But what my hypothesis about the Doge audit email is when he said, we're going to be doing a Doge style audit. And that happens a week before. What that would have been giving a get out of jail free card and exoneration to anyone at TPUSA that would be implicated in any future financial crime that they looked into. And they're like, oh, this is illegal what you did here. And they go, oh, that's the Charlie era. Charlie set that up. I had nothing to do with that. And then it's like, oh, okay. And then boom, what are you going to do? You can't prosecute a dead guy. Sir, are your testimonies about what you recovered from only in member? Wait, what? Wait, what you recovered from only in members? My fiance is having a hard time. Please send help. Jesus bless you and your family. Are you talking about like opiate, like addiction or whatever? No, not at all. That's not in members only. I'll show you. I did a video about it the other day. Hang on. It is this one. Oops. The My Confession one. That's the story of all of that. You get put like, that was an interview that I did with Sean Johnson and I cut that clip and then put it on. But you're put in a weird position. And if you want to talk about something like that you have to kind of do some vague, like a vague title like that, because it's not like really in line with what you're normally talking about. YouTube is weird, but that's the one. And Andrew doesn't know that overwhelming equals 100%. Someone needs to explain that to him. No, I think he knew. I think he knew. But he tried to reframe the debate from the beginning in a way where he wasn't going to have to actually be held accountable for, like, if it turns out, oh, it's not, it actually isn't very overwhelming. He's like, oh, well, I only said I was 75% sure anyway. I'm here to depose Candace. You know what I mean? You actually believed her that she turned them down. Are you talking about my wife's shit? I'm telling you, I was unknowing to her reading the chat logs for years. I didn't ask her shit. You, on the other hand, if that was hard to understand, yikes. I don't believe your hypothesis, but did you know they had a 3-day military civilian operation Valhalla at the end of August 2025, less than 2 weeks before CK? Listen, they were going to have to rehearse this over and over and over and over and over if that's what happened. And given the fact that you saw such robotic movements from the people on the ground, Mikey McCoy instantaneously just beelines, walks dead straight. Like, this is what I don't understand. Okay. Anybody who has seen those clips, and God, I'm sorry, I'm really trying not to do this because we're going to do this all tomorrow with Didi, but like anyone who has seen the videos, okay, and you've seen Mikey McCoy on the phone and then turn and walk straight down that path without turning around, without doing anything, like literally, he very clearly has somewhere that he wants to be, and he has been unaffected by what just happened. How do you explain that? Because, okay, so I have a buddy of mine who is the one who brought this to me initially, who now is like a really good buddy, like a really good friend of mine, because we talk all the time about all kinds of other stuff. But like, he was the one who was a viewer, brought this to me. And and we were friends before that, but like, I gave no credence to this theory at all at first. And it wasn't until I saw those clips that Candace put on, which I think she thought, indicated something else. But what he and I always talk about is that people think that evidence is only like something physical that you can touch and then go test it. It's like, hey, what does this piece of physical evidence mean? What is this piece of physical? And it's like, you can put physical evidence in place where, like, I don't even understand how that is weighted so much higher to people than other types of things like unexplainable human behavior, because you can take a piece of physical evidence and put it where you need it to be. That's not hard at all. All that, like, if people think there's never been any motivation for a person to want like people to believe that someone else committed a crime is so dumb. It's like, of course. And all they have to do is just put, physical evidence there. But when you look at human behavior, it is, in my opinion, equally reliable if you have a bunch of people who are behaving in a certain way, where at the very least you can go, there's definitely something else going on here, like without any shred of doubt. I can't, there's no way to know for sure what that is. But if you have enough sample size, then you're like, okay, well, why would they do this? 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 And if you have that many people and one answers it for all of them, okay, then to not entertain that is possible is just stupid. And so at the end of the day, that's why that's why I went from that is totally insane to, wait a minute, that could answer all of these things. Mikey McCoy, clearly, okay. Do you guys believe that a 22-year-old who has no history of being involved in any serious violence or seeing any serious violence or anything like that could watch someone that they deeply care about get murdered right in front of them and just be completely unaffected by that? And then just, all right, well, I'm going to slowly walk. I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. I'm just walking from point A to point B. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That makes no sense. No one would do that. Can you explain another one of the friends who is the head of audiovisual? Okay, like these are not even debatable at all. This is just what happened. Okay, Mikey McCoy seemed to walk away with the phone to his ear. Not seemed to. He did walk away with the phone to his ear and didn't even look back, as far as I could tell. Okay, Farnsworth, the head of audiovisual for TPUSA, and it's been reported that he doesn't usually go to these events, was heavily involved in talking to Charlie, moving things around throughout the whole thing. And as soon as Charlie gets shot, he turns and immediately walks over and stands on the wall, okay, to get the absolute most perfect shot of Charlie being carried to the SUV. He prioritized getting that, like his one of his closest friends watched him get shot, and then he's like, oh, I got to get the perfect shot. Turns it around on himself, and then the last thing he says into the camera is, he's dead. And then as soon as that's over, he walks over to the cameras that are set up to capture this event, and he removes the SD cards immediately. How do you explain that? Like, what? How do you explain that? So just between those two, you're already going to be like, okay, there's something weird going on. Then you realize that the security and the people around Charlie seemed to be doing some kind of signal. Like they're doing, there's no way to know that for sure, but certainly look pretty compelling. Hat, arm, Charlie with the nose, McCoy with whatever. They're like, they seem to be doing signs. There's no way to verify that for sure, but it sure looked like they were giving each other signs of some kind. And then when Charlie gets shot, all of the security jumps over the table. And what would you expect to see from them in the event that their principal just got shot? They would pull their firearms out and be looking for the threat so that they can put down fire and keep people safe and try to end the threat. They don't know where it came from initially. Right? Like, if assuming that there was a shot taken from the roof, they at least know the direction. they would have pulled their guns. They didn't pull their guns, at least not that I saw. And what they know for sure is that whoever took the shot has line of sight on the X that they are standing on, all of them, because they just shot Charlie from there. Okay, all of them are that okay, if you're a trained military or security person and you are running security for a principal, this is rudimentary. If a person gets shot, like that's for sure one of the first things that you're gonna, I mean, you know, you got two people working on him or whatever. I think people told me it was like 2 people working on him and the rest are going to be looking for the threat, whatever. But you need to get the one place you know that you are in tremendous danger of being shot is exactly where Charlie got shot, because he just shot him from there. And you have all of them right there, not even looking around. They're looking down. How do you explain that? How do they know? How do they seem to be not concerned about someone shooting them again? Right? And of course, you could explain all of this because you're like, well, they are all conspiring to murder Charlie. That's the other answer, right? It's like, oh, well, all of them are in on it. They knew there's not another shot being taken because they know it's an explosive on under his shirt or whatever, right? Because that would answer both things, except then, so up to this point in the analysis, you're like, okay, so they're all behaving like they knew this was coming. That's the one thing that you could say that seems relatively, you could say it confidently. It looks like they knew it was coming. Mikey McCoy was unsurprised, walks that way. Terrell Farnsworth goes, gets a perfect shot with his phone, and then goes and takes the SD cards out of the camera. The security guards, for whatever reason, seem not to be afraid as they go over and they're on the X, and they don't have their guns out. They're not looking for the threat. They're not like, get out of the way. You know, where's the, you know, they're just doing something behind the table with Charlie. So you're like, okay, one of those two things, at the very least, they knew it was coming. Then you get to the next part, which is that every single operator that I've spoken to, and this is an enormous number, has said that when somebody has been shot, when they have been there, the blood is absolutely indescribably it's everywhere, covered head to toe. If they're working on their friend, they're wringing blood out of their uniforms later. Horrifying to imagine that. However, when they carry Charlie from the X to the vehicle, there's no blood. There's no blood. There's no blood trail. There's no blood on, like, there's barely tiny streams on their hands and on their arms. And even Charlie's white shirt is not even covered. It's like there's some blood there. But every single operator that I've spoken to has been like, that's, from my experience, impossible. Impossible. It makes no sense. Like, there should have been so much more blood, especially with how it initially happened. And so you're like, okay, well, in my analysis, it's like, well, it seems like they all knew it was coming. It seems like they were unaffected by it. There's something very weird going on, that they seem to not be concerned about the secondary threat. And there's an overwhelming lack of blood. So, like, what am I looking at here? Like, what am I looking at? Then that's your day of analysis, right? And then it's like, okay, well, who are they saying did it? Like, who are they saying did it? It's like, well, they're saying Tyler Robinson did it. Okay. Well, did he do it? They're like, well, I don't know. We have this text message thread where he confessed. And you're like, let me take a look at those text messages. Oh, what time? What time did they send those? 11:30 at night. 11:30 at night? Let me read these. First of all, this does not sound like a real conversation at all. This sounds like a complete make-believe conversation. He literally just said one, like you have Tyler text confession, Lance, 2 words. Tyler text confession, Lance, 2 words. Tyler text confession. Each text from Tyler is a paragraph this long. And what is very conspicuous about this case versus any other I've ever seen, okay? Have you guys ever seen a case where the text that is written by your suspect references every single piece of physical evidence in the case? You guys ever seen that before? He talked about the rifle. He talked about fingerprints. He talked about the engraving on the bullets. Okay. He talked about the scope. He talked about the dad, the whatever, like that's actually other stuff, but like every piece of physical evidence is referenced in the text message conversation. Has that ever happened? He literally said that in the text message, oh, I wrote you a note, and it's like, yeah, burn it later. Okay, so you're aware enough about evidence that you're telling your guy to burn this note. But now instead of calling the guy, you are putting this in writing and referencing every single piece of physical evidence. That makes no sense, right? The Discord confession, someone typed that in the Discord. Hey guys, it's me. It was me that did it. I shot Charlie. Me. Actually, technically what he says is it was me at UVU. He doesn't even say that he did it. You have some weird story about how the parents recognized him from the images that were shared on television. And what's challenging about that is that all of us have two functioning eyeballs, or at least most of us have two functioning eyeballs. And so we look at the exact same images and we're like, what? Hang on. The mom looked at this picture right here and this picture right here and went, oh my God, it's Tyler. Like, we can look at Tyler. That does not look like Tyler. That doesn't look like him. Certainly doesn't look like him enough to where I could imagine it's like, okay, well, maybe it's the mom, like she sees something we don't recognize. But it's extraordinarily challenging to believe that, right? So when you look at that, the story is weird even when it comes to the parents. And then the media reports that he confessed to his parents. Okay. So where is that confession? Where is that written in an official document that the parents made a statement that he confessed to them? Oh, well, they never made a statement. Oh, really? The parents never made a statement. Correct. So why are we saying that he confessed to them if they've made zero statements? Well, someone said it, but not the parents. Correct. And it's not part of the prosecution now. No. Okay. So we don't have any word that he actually confessed to his parents. Cool. Okay. Well, so this case is not super strong. Every single image that we have is weird and in no way confirms that he was even there. The car that is on video. Oh, there's this car in the parking garage. Cool. Can we see the license plate? No. Can we see anything about? Yeah. Well, it's a silver Charger. Okay, cool. What else about it? It's like, well, that one has 2 exhaust pipes. Okay. How many does his Charger have? It's got 1. And how long after the video is taken on 9/10 was his car being impounded? I don't know, 48 hours. Oh, so he got his Charger's exhaust system reduced in those 48 hours because he had the upgraded one the day of 9/10 and he had a worse exhaust system 48 hours later. Yes. And you're basing your opinion that is his car on what? DMV records. DMV records, huh? Okay. Well, it's clearly not his car because it has more exhaust on it than his car, which we've also seen. They interview his next door neighbor who's known him for 20 years. And they ask her directly, they're like, has he ever been in trouble? Never. No trouble from him. Yeah. Did you recognize him in those images? No, I have his family's picture on my wall. I would have never recognized him in those images. Okay. Well, they say it was the grandpa's gun. How about that? It's like, oh, they say it's the grandpa's gun. Yeah. They say it's the grandpa's gun. What's the grandpa say? Does he think that he did it? Nope. He actually was recorded at one of the pre-trial, like a pre-trial, whatever, saying that he thinks that he's innocent and he didn't do it. Well, I thought he confessed to his family. Well, why'd you think that? I don't know. The parents haven't made any statements. Okay, cool. All right. And what else do we have physical evidence wise? Oh, well, you have a screwdriver on the roof that he used to put the rifle together. Oh, he put the rifle together on the roof? Yeah. That's funny because I watched a video where he ran from point A to point B where he supposedly took the shot. And There's absolutely no indication that he had a rifle, much less a 2 pieces or 3 pieces of a rifle that he then assembled on the roof. As a matter of fact, everybody just like forgot about that part. We watched the video. Where does he assemble the rifle exactly? Where's the part where he assembled the rifle? I can't even see a rifle. Where did he assemble the rifle? Oh, right. Okay. So, yeah, that's going to be a tough one to explain. Oh, what about, well, so like they said they found the screwdriver on the roof. Yeah, they found the screwdriver on the roof. Really? And it has fingerprints on it. Yep, fingerprints and DNA. Oh, cool. So do you have, let's just see, like, where was it positioned on the roof? Can you guys show us that? Actually, we can't, because the badge cam on the responding police officer, the battery died right before he, walked up to the site. Go over that one more time. Yeah, the battery died right before he was going to walk over to the place where they found the screwdriver and that stuff. Right before that. That's right. Died right before that. Okay. Cool. So you're not suspicious of that? Why would we? He's what reason we have to be suspicious? Oh, I don't know. Common sense. What about the rifle? Where'd they recover the rifle? Oh, they recovered it in a chicken coop. Chicken coop, you say? Yes, a chicken coop. In a towel that has his DNA on it. Cool. That's cool. And was there anybody else's DNA on it? Yep. Yeah, there was. According to reports, his roommate's DNA was also on it. Got it. Okay. And how did you guys find it? Well, the FBI found it. I believe that is the report. Cool. Was there anybody looking for it before that? Yeah, they actually had dogs out there who are professionally, like, that's what they do. They professionally find explosives and rifles, etc. Oh, cool. So did they find it? No, the dogs didn't find it. As a matter of fact, one of those dogs competed in a competition in Las Vegas, a national competition, and I believe placed either 3rd or 4th place in the country at that job. Wow. And he didn't find it. Nope, didn't find it. The dog couldn't find it then. Didn't find it in the chicken coop. Right. Yeah, didn't find it in the chicken coop. Oh, cool. Okay. But someone else found it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was reported that it was a World War I Mauser, but it looks just like a Ruger American or, whatever. Oh, well, people are saying that, the action itself is from World War I, but they, got the pieces put on or whatever. They got it upgraded. They took off the extraordinarily rare wood grain stock and all that on it because they wanted to put on plastic bullshit to make it look like a Ruger American. Why would they do that? Well, it makes it lighter. Oh, really? Well, why wouldn't they just go buy a Ruger American for $300 if that's what they wanted versus destroy a beautiful World War I relic that their grandfather brought back from the war? Does that make any sense? Well, I mean, people do it. Retards? Who the fuck would do that? You have any idea what that rifle is worth if you just leave it intact? Why would you take, if you're going to put a bunch of bullshit on it, right, that you can literally buy a brand new one for less, like maybe maximum $550, why don't you just go buy one of those? Is the World War I action better than a 2026 action? No. So what are we talking about? Who would do that? Well, there's one thing that I'll just bring up, the World War I rifle does not have a serial number on it. Oh, well, that's fucking convenient, isn't it? So they had a World War I action with no serial number, and they destroyed it by taking off all the heavy, beautiful wood, and they went and put a fucking plastic bullshit. Okay, cool. This is all adding up very nicely. Oh, and the dogs didn't find it? Nope, dogs didn't find it. Okay, cool. Well, this is all making perfect sense, dude. I am completely on board with this case. This is what I'm saying, dude. Okay? This is what I'm saying. Overwhelming fucking evidence, dude. It's not even why I was talking about this. This is like literally not even why I was talking about this. Okay, like not one part of this story makes sense. None of it. Okay. So what else? What else? Like, because there's the physical evidence. Okay. Well, so what else, right? Is who's the star witness? Well, the star witness is Lance Twiggs, the trans furry roommate. Okay. And what does he say? Well, he's telling a story about how, Tyler confessed to him, and you can read those text messages between the two lovers, which sounds like a gay romance novel. And not like so asinine how stupid this text conversation is, given that supposedly one of these guys just committed the most high profile assassination in the last 30 years. You know, oh, I hope the dog's got a bad sniffer. Whew, lucky it did. Lucky it did, man. Jeez Louise, if I see one of the quotes that I, you know, engraved on the bullets. Hey, remember when I was engraving bullets? Do you remember that? The bullets that I used to kill Charlie Kirk. Remember that? Well, if I see one of those quotes on Fox News, I'm just going to die. I'm going to die, man. Whew. Just imagine how funny that would be. So I'm still out here waiting. I'm going to go try to grab my rifle. Geez Louise, I hope they don't have my fingerprints on it. Well, if you're a person aware of fingerprints, why wouldn't you have worn gloves? Why wouldn't you have wiped it down first and then just worn gloves the day of this assassination? You just remembered now that fingerprints exist? That's kind of weird. Well, I am retarded. You're like, okay, that's a good point. But you're just waiting out there, chilling. Anybody seen you anywhere else? Oh, yeah, lots of other places. But trust me, I'm right here, according to text messages. Okay, cool. And apparently gave up because they found it. Now, what time did they recover the rifle? I believe, mid to late, like late afternoon, early evening, something like that. I remember them saying the day that they had it. And at the trial, when they showed those text messages that Lance Twiggs apparently turned over, what did it say in the screenshot in terms of what time those messages were sent? It says 11:30 p.m. 11:30 p.m. Yes. So 6 hours after they actually found it, he was out front of the place that he stashed it, just waiting to see if he can get himself in there. Hopefully the dogs have a bad sniffer. Yeah. And when they recovered the rifle, was that widely reported on the news? Yes, it was actually. It was very widely reported. Everyone knew that they had found the rifle. That, in fact, is one of the main pieces of the story of why the father reached out to him, because he's like, hey, I need you to show me your grandpa's rifle. You know, hey, you know, the one from World War I that was worth $20,000 or $10,000. And we decided that a good move would be to take all the original wood and stuff off of it and replace it with plastic stock and bullshit. Remember that? You know, show me a picture of it, Tyler. Oh geez. What do I do? And yet at 11:30 p.m., still out there waiting. Unless I'm remembering the times wrong, which I'm pretty sure I'm not. How does that make sense? Doesn't. Okay. And then like Lance is immediately like paraded out in public as the innocent roommate who told them everything. The governor is out there. He's like, this kid, the bravery that he has shown is amazing. You know, we are so happy that he was able to confirm who in fact killed Charlie with this incredible confession that referenced every single piece of physical evidence. Oh, nice. Well, cool. Anybody have any thoughts on, you know, the lack of blood trail or the fact that the security was unconcerned about the shooting that should have been, you know, potentially coming after Charlie was shot? Any thought? What do you mean? What do you mean? They acted totally normal. Oh, okay, cool. That's just the day of. That's just the day of. And then the day after when they're telling you what the official story is. And you're like, all right, well, what are we doing the next day? Or the day after that? Well, I'm sorry. Let me rewind. Day of. Report is that people were cleared out of the wing of the hospital that Charlie was going to be brought to 2 hours before he was shot. Is that confirmed? Well, I haven't seen anybody dispute it, so that's kind of weird. What do you got? What's the explanation there? They're like, oh, I don't know. Maybe they thought there was going to be an earthquake or something. Okay, maybe. That's possible. So what are we doing now? Go back 2 hours or 2 days later. Oh, well, his body's already been prepared. He's in a coffin, and we're going to mic up his wife, and we're going to film her draped over his coffin. is she in shock? Isn't she in shock? No. She's going to do a speech, actually. She's going to do a speech, which is going to be, it's going to make perfect sense. It's going to be very moving. She's going to forgive the guy who shot and killed her husband. And she's going to be wearing the same outfit as the character in Snake Eyes, who is right next to Charles Kirkland, who gets shot in the identical place where Charlie Kirk was shot, literally the exact same place. And the girl is blonde and wearing the exact same outfit as what Erica's wearing in this speech for some reason. And she's not going to be in shock at all. No shock. I mean, it sounds like something weird is going on. Yeah, it does. It does sound like something weird is going on, doesn't it? Did you say Charles Kirkland in the movie Snake Eyes? Oh, yeah. The movie Snake Eyes, the character's name is Charles Kirkland. He is shot in a political assassination in the exact same place that Charlie was shot. This is the first time, now it's me talking, that I realize that I think my theory about Charlie having, like, if the hoax thing is real and that the hose is supposed to go off underneath the shirt, that would not make sense. You can't have both the Snake Eyes predictive programming or whatever that, like, basing it on that, him get shot in the neck, and the shirt be meant to rig go under, off, under, whatever. Anyway, but in that movie, Charles Kirkland, political assassination, and the guy who provides the distraction is named Tyler the Executioner. And that fight happened on September 10th in the movie. Say what? Yep. Look it up, man. September 10th is when that happened in the movie. Tyler the Executioner is the distraction. So you're saying the guy who shot Charlie's name is Tyler, who he shot him in the neck on 9/10. It hit him right here in the neck on the left side. And in the movie, Charles Kirkland is shot on 9/10 right here in the neck. And the guy who was boxing in the story is named Tyler the Executioner. Correct. And like I said, the way we got on this subject is Erica is wearing a white blazer, exactly like the character that is played by Carla Gugino, who's right there in that movie while she's wearing a blonde wig. What the fuck is happening? I don't know. I have no idea, dude. I have no idea. People are telling me I'm crazy because I have entertained the possibility that maybe this whole thing is a big operation and not actually what it seems. I'm crazy. Okay. Then we fast forward to, the next couple weeks. And it's like, oh, did you guys hear Erica and Andrew and Blake and Mikey McCoy are going to do a podcast together? Oh, are they really? Let's watch it. Let's check it out. Because, of course, if they're going to be talking about Charlie, it's going to be very challenging for them, since I have emotions and I know other people who also have emotions. And if someone dies, if a parent dies and you try to get the person to talk about their parent for years afterwards, they will collapse under the pressure of the grief that starts choking them and hitting them in the chest. They can't talk. They literally cannot even get words out of their mouth talking about him. So that's going to be probably pretty tough for the group of 5 or 4 of them talking exclusively about Charlie, right? That's going to be hard. Incredibly easy, actually. None of them are going to have a hard time talking about it. Nope, no tears. No, it's very light. It's fluffy over there. They're chilling, dude. They are very relaxed. She's going through and talking about the different traits that live within each of their guys that, are part of Charlie now that Charlie's gone. And, for some reason, they're not upset at all. None of them cry, lots of smiles. What do I do with this information? Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you what happened, man. What comes next? Oh, we're going to throw the biggest memorial ever at a gigantic stadium in Arizona that was put together extraordinarily fast. How big are we talking? Big, man. Huge production. 11 days after he was shot or whatever. Okay. I don't know what to do with that part. Well, if you don't know what to do with that, let me take you back to the day of. A couple of things that we forgot about. So George Zinn is some random old guy who, after the shooting happened, pulled his pants down and screamed, "I did it. I did it. It was me." At which point, the law enforcement and attention of the country, including myself, Jesse on Fire, who's now talking for himself, immediately started looking at George Zinn because everyone thought they caught the guy who did it since he screamed, "I did it." And he gets dragged off. Clips of him getting dragged off. Everyone goes, "Who is this? Who is this old guy who did this?" We subsequently found out that he apparently is just some crazy guy who happened to have been at the Boston bombing and a bunch of other places that, according to Andrew Wilson on the Joe Rogan podcast, it turns out the guy is just a well-known agitator. And so, ipso facto, it's not weird that he was there and yelled, "I did it." To which, I guess my response to that would be, so you're telling me that he just went there and was like, "Hey, in the event that someone gets shot, I'll just scream, 'I did it,' because that's what I'm an agitator." I struck the lottery, dude. It turned out I was just there because I'm an agitator, and Charlie got shot, and I was able to quick on my feet, pull my pants down and say, "I did it." Okay, that makes logic. That makes logical sense to Andrew Wilson. Okay, whatever. Cool. We know anything else about the guy? Oh, we do actually. Within about 36 hours, he got popped for CP on his computer, and he disappeared into the justice system, and no one could talk to him now. CP on the computer, you say? Yes. Could that have been a way to blackmail him to get him there, to tell him to do that? Sure, possible. Okay. What else? Well, there's also this very bizarre moment where Phil Lyman, who is a very, very powerful gentleman in Utah, who I have no problems with at all. I have no problems with any of these people, by the way. Just telling you how I think. Phil Lyman afterwards is talking to people, and some camera walks up and goes, "Hey, Phil, did you see what happened?" He looks at the camera, super bizarre, and goes, "No." And he's right there. He definitely saw what happened, allegedly. All of this, by the way, I can't confirm any of this stuff. If anybody's been listening to this, for the record, this is all just stuff I've heard. None of this is fact. But he factually said no on video in such a bizarre fashion that I actually made a video about it where I was like, what is this? Why was he making jokes about this? To which Phil Lyman responded to me and other people on X and was like, "These people are crazy." And then we looked at the whole clip, and I actually felt bad because what it happened is immediately after that, other people walked up, and he snapped immediately into being very, very somber. And I was like, oh man, so that was just like some weird clip. I dismissed it for a few months. He then did the Alex Jones show. And when he was telling his story from that day, he said, after it happened, I was on the campus. And by the way, for the 1,000th time, you guys, if you don't want me talking about this, all you have to do is ask. Like, just one time. Stop talking about this. I will never talk about it again. Anyway, so he says that he was on the campus, and he walked up to two girls and said, "Are you guys all right?" And he said it was very weird because they were these goth girls, and they said they weren't afraid. It was very weird. They weren't afraid. And then they said, "F these people." And he's like, I just found that very bizarre. You also had, 20 leftists that apparently had foreknowledge of what was coming because they posted it on the internet, right? So if whatever was going on worked on me, because in the immediate aftermath, I spent the majority of my time literally flipping out about leftists celebrating what had happened, because I find that so reprehensible that I literally do not have words for it. And for the record, whether Charlie got killed by leftists, whether Charlie got killed by a remote bomb, whether Charlie is involved in something different that we're exploring, anyone who celebrated him getting killed is trash. Human fucking garbage. The reality of what happened makes no difference. Anyone who celebrated, anyone who went and trashed one of the memorials, if you think that we have anything in common, we fucking don't. I promise you that. Anywho, so Lyman said that on Alex Jones' show, and I watched it. It was a huge moment where I said, you know what, dude? I don't know why. That right there was a huge piece for me where I'm like, this is a conspiracy. There's a big conspiracy among the leftists. I did a huge investigation into the, Utah queers of whatever. the armed queers of Utah, all that stuff. I spent all my energy on those guys. So then, as things start piling up and, sorry. You also have the guy cheering in the crowd, USA, USA. And then, he did his best, he did his best impression of a left-wing terrorist when he responded to it online. So all the evidence appeared to be over there. So the bottom line is this, without jumping to any conclusions, right, is when you start watching their behavior afterwards, after the memorial, going into the next phase of this, where people start looking at Erica going, what is wrong with her? Why is she not mourning? And she gets named like CEO of TPUSA. Everyone immediately goes, what? I thought she's like a trad wife. Well, she is, but she's also going to be the CEO. Why? Well, she is going to make sure that Charlie's vision and his legacy moves forward. Okay, I'm just going to ask a question. I don't mean to be disrespectful at all, but why on earth would why would anyone think that the wife is the right choice for that? I don't know her. She might be wildly capable. My wife is a killing machine, but she's not going to become the CEO of my company if she has not been involved in operations for many, many years. That doesn't make any sense. Like, you don't just like slide into the top leadership position in an organization that has its hands in this many things. TPUSA and all of the surrounding organizations are wildly successful, very smart people who have been doing this successfully for years. Why on earth would you have her slide into the leadership? So super weird. Then you get into the stuff where you hear these recordings and, you thought you understood that there was a lack of grief, but then you hear like these like all hands meetings that are like, guys, $250,000 in merch sales. And you're like, this isn't, no, okay, no. I can't. No. How are none of them sad? When I say all this out loud, it is embarrassed. I'm embarrassed of how I couldn't put it together either. And if my buddy didn't bring it to me, I never would have. I literally would have never put it together. But anywho, I'll stop there because we're doing an entire podcast about this tomorrow at noon. Me and Didi Got a Podcast are going to go through all of this stuff with videos and all of that and go through why we ended up on that. But again, when people go, hey, dude, like you sound crazy because of blah, blah, blah. It's like, do I sound crazy? Or do I sound like I have this, case pretty well clocked of what should be remembered that we should be suspicious of? Because it sounds like there's a lot to me. All of that stuff. How long did I was just talking for like, what, an hour? You know what I mean? Okay. New theory. Rachel and Andrew are actually brother and sister. Allegedly, some bone structure, facial expressions, mannerisms, micro expressions. Throw out their pics into AI, see if it confirms. Oh, that reminds me. I am not going to do that because that's so weird, by the way. But that reminds me. When I looked at the pictures of Tyler Robinson from the day of, and I looked at Lance Twiggs, and I was extraordinarily suspicious of Lance Twiggs, and I have many videos from October that can verify this. I was like, guys, why does everybody think this is Tyler Robinson when it's much more likely to be Lance? Because on the other side of the investigation I was doing, when I was focused in that direction, and if you can't tell that I'm like a person who makes jokes a lot, but when I'm serious about things, I'm fucking serious about them, and I will dive into them and analyze them and do all the research and all of that. And I was very suspicious of Lance Twiggs. And you find out that Tyler has no history of any kind of problems. He's got no history, at all. No problems. Aside from that, when the police talk to him about like a traffic accident or whatever, he has nothing. Lance, on the other hand, had been removed from his family because of substance abuse issues, because he apparently, according to sources, had attacked his grandmother with a knife. He had all kinds of stuff. The guy came out who was one of their friends, sharing pictures of Lance nesting and all this schizophrenic nonsense, all these pictures that he had drawn. Like, it looks like he's drawing them like this late at night. And you're like, wait, hang on. So the other guy did it? Yeah, the other guy did it. Okay, well, that doesn't seem likely. So what I did is I looked very closely at pictures of both of them, including their shoes, including facial recognition software that I put in. And it's like, first of all, the shoes that are being worn by the shooter look like regular Converse All-Stars, but there are differences. And the ones that I found, the pictures I found are Lance wearing those shoes, and I couldn't find any of Tyler wearing those exact shoes. In addition to that, I put it into the AI software, and I asked it to analyze the two faces and say which of these two people looks more like the suspect. And it did a 6-point analysis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Like, so it's like the bridge of the forehead to nose, whatever, like measurements from the bridge of the eyebrows, all this. There was 6. And it picked which of Lance or Tyler was more likely to be the person in the picture for each of the 6. Guess how many it picked Lance for? All 6. 6 for 6, Lance. 6 for 6, Lance. I put this out a long time ago. All I'm saying with that is, when it comes to Lance and Tyler, I have no idea what I'm looking at. I have no theories. If it's a hoax, I have no idea. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know I have no idea if I'm right about that. But because what am I looking at? I have no idea. I've never been able to figure out what is probably actually going on with the Tyler thing, if that's the case. And if it's not, well, then that becomes pretty straightforward. If he's dead, that becomes pretty straightforward. There's something going on over there, and my guess is being framed by Lance for some reason. Maybe he's working with feds, maybe he's not. I have no idea. But he had access to the cell phone. Okay. The text message sent at 11:30 at night. Okay. What time does Tyler get up for work? 7 every day. 7. School or work. He's out the door by 7. Okay. And the text messages where he's saying that he was out waiting for the rifle are at 11:30 at night. Right. And the rifle had already been recovered hours before that. Right. What would explain that then? Explain that the text message is going at 11:30? Yeah. What could explain that? I guess I would say maybe Tyler's asleep because he has to wake up at 6 a.m. and his schizophrenic boyfriend, who never sleeps, maybe went and grabbed his phone, had that conversation with himself, deleted the text out of his own phone, and then gave it to the feds because he wanted to put it on Tyler. Oh, I guess that would work. What about the note that he hand wrote and then burned, but he took a picture of it? Well, so actually, if you look at that picture which leaked, and then you compare it to his notebook that leaked, this handwriting is almost, well, according to handwriting analysis, it's more likely to be his by a long shot. So he wrote the note himself then, maybe. Right. He might have written the note himself, further, framing Tyler if he was involved. Cool. Well, what's his alibi? What's Lance's alibi? Oh, well, he was asleep. What? He was asleep. Yeah, he was asleep, man. Didn't Charlie get shot at like 12:30? Yeah. Yep, right around there. 12:30 p.m. Yeah. Because, 11:30 p.m. Texas, like, who knows? I don't know. 12:30 p.m. Yeah. The daylight was out. Okay. And Lance was asleep. Yeah. He said he slept till about 1. Where did you get to hear that statement? Oh, well, when they did the pretrial hearing, they just played a private videotape deposition that Lance made, statement that he made. A videotape? Yeah, videotape. Yep. Just a videotape. Didn't get to ask him any questions. So he just got to tell his story. Didn't have to answer anything at all. That's correct. Nothing. What'd he look like? Well, his hair's grown a lot, like a lot. All right. Are there any pictures of him like when this first happened? No, there's a picture of him, from at the gas station. He kind of looks like Taylor, whatever that guy's name is from Friday Night Lights. Kind of looks like that. He's definitely not trans anymore. Now he's kind of like a rugged forest man, But he is always wearing the same sweatpants. Okay, that's a weird detail. But his hair's really long now. How fast does hair grow? I don't know. I don't really know, actually. But yeah, for some reason, they let them play this video and they didn't ask him any questions. You didn't even need to see him in person. How hard would it be to create a couple pictures of him at a gas station? And how hard would it be to like, is this even a real person? Who knows? There's no way to know. And there's no reason to suspect that anyone would, juke footage of anything, right? Because that's never happened recently. So, all I know is that I originally was laying out what led to me entertaining Charlie being alive. And I think what my conclusion is that anyone who thinks there's anything even remotely reliable in this total story to where you would shit on any theory except for my theory that whatever the official story is impossible nearly. Like, I will entertain anything to explain all of this stuff. Like, I will literally entertain anything. Give it to me. Well, is there any other reason that you think that the hoax thing is possible? Well, there is the whole thing about, 90 days after him being killed, Milo Yiannopoulos went on Timcast IRL, which I'm doing September 1st, by the way. Milo went on Timcast and said he knew for an incontrovertible fact that Charlie had not been buried yet. What? 90 days after he had been shot and killed. His body had not been buried, according to Milo, and he said he knew for absolute sure, and no one disputed it. Okay. And then, so what happened after that? Erica went on a media tour within a week, and the primary focus seemed to be her asking for grace. And like, can she just have this one thing, just this one thing where no one breaks her balls about where Charlie's buried? And it's like, I guess, like, but Charlie's a very important historical figure from this generation. Like, you can understand why people might want to know where he is and, visit his, visit wherever he's at. Well, that's interesting, but no, because we're just going to keep that private. But you did an episode of the Erica show where you were draped over his casket. So, like, I don't understand what you want to keep it private. Does this have anything to do with what Milo said about him not being buried anywhere? No, it doesn't. I didn't even know about that. All right. Well, that's weird. This is all weird. I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, but yeah. So again, tomorrow at noon, me and Didi Got a Podcast are going to do a stream about this. I'm going to let, I feel like I've talked ad nauseum about this and done, I did a 10-part series on this, and it's in my playlist, The Manufactured Martyr. You can watch those whenever you want. And I will further reiterate, like I do every single time I talk about this, that I'm not making any statements of facts. I'm not claiming that he's alive. I'm just saying this is my hypothesis to try to explain this stuff. And whatever Charlie's doing, I'm always on his side. Even if at first glance, like, oh, he did this. At first glance, like, I have made it as far as I have, like, throughout my life by reading people and trusting my instincts when I get a good read. And whatever he's doing, I trust that fucking guy, dude. I do. So whatever he's doing, I trust his motives if he's still around. I have total 75% faith. That's probably about Andrew Wilson when he said, I have total faith in my wife, but I did force her to get a paternity test. You're all right. Oh, by the way, if you were looking for the Andrew Wilson stuff, that's the beginning of the stream. First, 45 minutes to an hour. Unforgettable name. Charlie was killed. Erica knows who done it. She can't say anything because she's been threatened. That's totally possible, dude. That's why she's been acting weird. Tyler was paid and promised he would be cleared of the murder. Completely possible. Totally possible. The only thing I would respond to that with is that I don't see them acting afraid either. Like, if they were involved in killing him, you would expect to see, like, these are not arch criminals. You would expect to be able to look and be like, man, they look like they're nervous, man. The whole world's looking at them. They like, this is a death penalty case. Why aren't they terrified of getting caught? And if she'd been threatened, that fear seems like it would also be there as well. But what do I know? You know? Yeah, you agree to fake false pretense. Then he's a hostage while they do the switch part, the bait and switch. This makes the most sense to me. But okay, go ahead. So I'm confused why. I've heard this kind of thing a lot. And my response to it is that the only way that this would make sense is if you decide in advance that TPUSA are villains. Because there's no indication of anything after, you know. What's up?
Can we go to pinballs?
Yeah, later for sure. I said I'd be ready to go at 4.
What time?
2:55. It's not even your birthday. Beat it. Don't try to flex on me. It's your sister's. Yeah, dude, 100%. Lost public voice means almost zero power. Well, at the very least, he has to exert power in a different way. And if he's not, yeah. And I mean, again, if this went sideways, it could be, who knows? You know what I mean? Hey, Jesse, fan from Canada. Good job. Love the show. I do tend to believe your point of view on the case. I mean, again, thank you very much. I just want to be very clear that my point of view is just a theory because there's so much weirdness that I can't explain any of it. You know, it's like, but that one, the hoax theory explains everyone's behavior that I have eyes on. You know what I mean? If it's not real, that explains why the security was not afraid of being shot while on the X. If it's not real, that explains why Mikey McCoy has no problem just walking straight away like nothing happened. If it's not real and they're trying to convince people that it's real, then that makes perfect sense why Terrell Farnsworth would walk over, stand on the wall, get a perfect shot. And that explains why there's no blood where there should be gallons of blood. It explains why they would refuse first aid from the first aid people who are rushing up trying to help, and then they don't allow them even to get into the SUV. That would explain that. And it would explain why these people appear to have no grief is because it wouldn't be real. Like that's the kind of basis of the beginning. And it also would explain why they do all this weird shit. They got her draped over the coffin because they're trying to sell it. You know, it doesn't mean it's correct. It's just like, I can't tell what I'm looking at. It's also possible they're all evil psychos, but you know, I don't know. Do you have an address that I could ship something to? I want to send you something and Valhalla. I'm going very close to something big. If you email me, I can give you a PO box. Shoot me an email. I'll give you my, I do have a PO box shipping, address. I don't get there very often. I can't promise when I'm going to actually pick it up, but we go there. Jay, what's up, man? Watch Mrs. Robinson video by Simon and Garfunkel, please. I mean, I've seen that movie a long time ago, I feel like. Black trans lesbian. Black trans lesbian. Yeah, is what he went with, dude. Do you think that if Tyler's acquitted, that TPUSA would be next? No. Next on the chopping block, possibly why Erica Kirk is now the CEO as the next Patsy. No, I don't think so. I think, again, I'm the wrong person to ask about this because I can't get myself to a place where anyone in that group being involved in murdering Charlie makes sense in my worldview or anything that I've observed as a human being. I just can't get there. I can't get there. And again, that is very, very good reason that you should be skeptical of my hypothesis of it being a hoax, because I'll just tell you that up front. You should be very skeptical of my hoax hypothesis because I can't get myself to believe that they would be involved in murdering him. I can't. Does that mean that it's impossible? It does not. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. Because I look at them, I don't see evil people. I see people trapped in a very bad situation that I think is probably a misunderstanding. Does that mean they're not evil? Definitely not. I am being upfront with my preconceived biases because everybody's going to try to everyone analyzes things from a flawed perspective in almost every case. And the majority of the time, what that flaw is putting yourself into that situation and imagining what you would do. And I am so hyper loyal to the people that are my inner circle that it's unfathomable. It is literally unfathomable. It's another reason that I'm going to be honest, dude. I have had a blind spot before in situations that I'm embarrassed about. Very like, where I ended up feeling very ashamed of myself, where like, it was like, oh, this girl said that this guy did this. And I'm like, yeah, right. And I was wrong. And I'm like, and it's because I could never hurt a girl, dude. Like I could never do it. And so I look at it and I'm like, there's no fucking way. No. I have to have a really good, if I have eyeballs on the person though, like if I'm looking at the guy they're talking about and I can get a read on them, then that would never happen because I can read the guy. But in stories where I hear a story from a girl and I haven't seen the guy, I make the mistake of inserting myself into that story. And I'm like, no way. Like if I can look at the guy and I'm like, oh yeah, that guy's a fucking psycho, like the Andrew Tate situation. Oh, wait, 100 girls said that he choked her he choked them unconscious in the middle of sleeping with them. And then they all asked themselves, no one's going to believe me because I did consensually start having sex with him. Then he raped me afterwards. No one's going to believe that. I believe you. I 100% believe you because I could put eyes on him. And he's one of these guys he's not into having sex normal. He wants to take it. And he figured out, oh, well, what are they going to say? What are they going to say? It's like, well, if you've done it 100 times, like eventually people are going to start talking and then you establish a pattern. But anywho, Pam Beach, thank you very much. Andrew said he had Charlie's text to protect one person and not one protected Charlie and no one protected Charlie that day. How come we never get to see Grandpa's gun? Happy birthday to your little girl. Thank you very much. So that's hilarious. Like, when did you send that? 2:15. Okay. I apologize if we already talked about this, but that's what's so crazy is we have seen the gun and cause like, I agree with you. I saw the gun that they had in the images that were supposedly the gun being found in the evidence box. And you're looking like, that's not a World War I or World War II relic. What are we talking about? That just looks like any other gun. And their story is that they took the action from the World War I rifle and then went and then updated it. And then people are like, yeah, that's something people do. Who the fuck would do that? Even if it doesn't fire, why would you take off the original historically relevant, beautiful, like this is an artifact, man. A war artifact of a war artifact. People took this and went and fought in this horrific world war in Europe. If it's World War I, World War II, maybe the Pacific, theater, but like what kind of person would desecrate a piece of history like that to go put a plastic fucking stock on it? It's sacrilege and no one would do that. Why wouldn't you just go buy a plastic stock butt gun? So like when they told me that, they're like, oh yeah, it's just been updated. I'm like, why? So that's their story of why that gun does not appear to be a historical relic. It does not explain how they could say that, oh yeah, the dad recognized like, that's just like our, grandpa's gun that Tyler had. And, grandpa who doesn't think Tyler did it. It's like, how'd you know that? It looks like every single 30-06 that you could buy for $500 at the gun shop now, Acts 2, thank you very much. New to your channel and binging on Manufactured Martyr, great work. I'm with you, especially seeing the movie Squib, Hose, can't unsee it. So that's like, it's funny, like that episode, the second episode, shout to Valhalla on that, because when I did the first one, the first episode, I did it based on how I analyze things, which is a lot of it was human behavior. And then obviously you have to have an answer for why they would do a thing like this. Like there has to be a reason and it needs to be a big one. And the part that I have left out of this particular conversation, which I'm sure we'll get into tomorrow, has to do with what the Department of Justice did immediately following this incident. So, it's got a lot of different goals that they're trying to accomplish. A, get everybody focused in this direction against the common enemy of the left. You've got the DOJ determines that these left-wing groups are radical domestic terrorists, and which opens them to using the Patriot Act to get into, investigating these people. And specifically in the press release about it, and when they were, talking about that decision, it says they are going to now be able to investigate the funding sources of those groups. And what's hilarious about that is how many times have they had these big, campaigns that we were seeing all the time before. Oh, they're burning down the cities over this. Oh, now they're burning Teslas. Now they're doing this, whatever. Burn everything. Okay. That shit, really kind of like has taken a big, large backscale since that happened, because the people who fund them can now be targeted by the DOJ. And the reason why they would have done that is because the people who were funding and driving them, investigating Trump and investigating Charlie and the Jack Smith investigation, the people who are actually behind that are the people who they could target if they go after the funding sources of those things, at least is what my hypothesis is. And that's in addition to, the other stuff. But anyway, I'm sorry, I didn't finish my thought. So when I did the first episode, Valhalla was like, I watched it, but like I just turned it off. He's like, because if you can't explain to me why I saw cavitation in his neck and all that, like, what are we even talking about? And I was like, oh, okay. So other people are like, I know what I saw, so I need to be able to explain this. So the whole second episode was all stuff I had seen, which I didn't even look that deep into. I just needed to know for sure that they could do that. Like they could make it look like that, which again, like I've seen a million movies where people get shot. It's like I know they have practical effects. I don't, that seemed simple to me, but I didn't, the video that I show in that episode was so like, it's so exact, when the guy's just, and it's from 4 years previous. And he's like, oh, here's what the effect looks like. I'm like, well, Jesus, that looks exactly like what we saw, dude. Like exactly, it's not a gunshot, but it's a guy, they're simulating a guy getting his throat cut, the blood. It's like, wow, that is extraordinarily similar. But anyway, that's why that one was the second episode. What about the questioning of LT's claiming Lance doing something like that more than Tyler because Tyler physically assaulted multiple. Oh, yeah. You mean Lance physically assaulted? Yeah. 100%. And I apologize that I took that long to get to that before I said it, but yeah. Casey, I didn't mean to throw you off track. I really respect the fact that you believe what you put out on the video. Can't get past CK's bodily reactions, cavitation. Totally understand. That's exactly where Valhalla is. I personally don't understand that part just because they do it in the movies all the time. They make it look so realistic in the movies, but I will say this, if they really did do that, the fucking balls to do that. Like if anything goes wrong, you know what I mean? It's like, if anything goes wrong, you have to nail that take. It's like a one take and you have to nail it. A Barnes, look up the news bender. 1968 was used to control populations. Now the Rothschilds, Rockefellers are trapped by their own inventions. Yep. I mean, I don't know about them being trapped by their own, but yes. I mean, I know again, I know about this stuff. That's why none of this is like hard to believe for me, where I just think when like everybody goes, everything you see is fake and gay. And it's like, correct. And then, but I don't think they realize like the level to which that's true, Hey bro, open invite to come down to San Angelo and play 18. We have a beautiful course in SACC. Let me know, dude. I might take you up on that. My daughter just made the golf team, so maybe I'll bring her, dude. Where's let me see, San Angelo, dude. Whoops. And that is in, dude, I don't even know where San Angelo is. Oh my gosh. San Angelo Country Club is gorgeous. Yeah, I might take you up on that, dude. Shoot me an email. When it's not so hot, though. My daughter's a pussy when it comes to the heat. And so am I, kind of, but not really. Okay, Robert Kirk and Trump Master Gospel. Yeah. I mean, that's always been my hypothesis about why Trump's been behaving the way he has. A Barnes, how can you prove Charlie was a real dude in the first place? What if he was always an actor and a mask using camera tricks for King Trump fake news champion? I mean, it's like it's anything's possible, dude. But he's on camera a lot. And he was doing lots of live shows. Seems very unlikely. What if Charlie was complicit in faking it just briefly to expose something, but then they actually killed him in the SUV? Would a live CK let TR go through? Oh, Tyler Robinson go through this. Yeah, I mean, so I've talked about that a million times in terms of then they whack him out in the SUV. zero evidence of that. And what I think it shows is how powerful seeing something happen is, where people literally are like, no, he's dead for sure. Like, that's not because if people are like, I will entertain that maybe they faked it, but then he's now dead anyway. It's like, but so this was fake, what we all saw, but now he's still dead. It's like, yeah, it's like, just if you actually think that through, the only explanation for that hypothesis is that it's been into your brain. That's like, no, he's dead. And it's like, but you just said they faked it. And it's like, yeah, but he's dead. And you're like, but think about why you think that that has to be constant. It's because you saw it. You know what I mean? Which is why they would have done it that way if that's what they did. And would he let Tyler Robinson go through this? There's only I have thought about that a million times. The only thing that would make sense to me is that Tyler Robinson's in on it and agreed to do a year in prison, and they have it rigged that he'll get out, or Tyler Robinson had downloaded such horrific shit off the dark web that he deserved to die anyway. And they're like, fuck him. Those are the only two things I can think of. And given the George Zinn thing, certainly totally plausible. He looks like a little fucking creep, doesn't he? The only thing that contradicts your theory, it would be why everyone in TPUSA is supposed to involved in this hoax except for his best friend, Candace. Very complicated to place that, right? So I talk about that in my series, which is, there is a possibility that there's something even bigger going on that her and Charlie are doing, that where it would almost be like they would have to have like even double, like they would have to be secretly double crossing the people that are, who knows, you know. But I think what's much more likely is the people who are actually involved are people who have very, very deep conflict with Candace. This actually, as I'm saying this out loud, would even support the idea that those guys on the blue and white team are actually on the inside of this. And it was possibly partially to distract people from the Gaza thing, maybe. But again, there's no way to know. But like, there is a world where, like, because Charlie and Candace are, they're in an inseparable, two people, but she had conflict with a lot of people that were around. And so it is totally plausible that in order to get this done, Charlie needed these people, and there's no possible way that they could do, this plan and have her involved because they needed those people. But again, yeah, I've thought about that a lot. I don't really have an answer. And I will say though, that when I first put this together, at least what the hypothesis was, the two key components to it were Erica and Candace. And what it was is that Erica is being asked to play the most impossible role ever for a person who's not even remotely anywhere near a professional actor, because everyone knows what they expect her to be. And you have to be able to pull that off, or else people are going to look at you and be like, what's wrong with them? And then they're going to make decisions that you are a bad actor very quickly. Exactly what happened. And with Candace, if anybody planned this and did not realize that was a thermonuclear suitcase nuke that was going to be sitting underneath your plan forever, then they didn't understand the chessboard. Because if she suspected something and she starts grilling people at TPUSA and they have to lie to her, dude, she is a fucking dragon, dude. Like, she's never going to let it go. She will never have any qualms about destroying all of them, tearing down their world if she thinks that they killed Charlie. Like, and I think the story about where she got Terrell Farnsworth on the phone, and she's telling him to send over the footage, and he's scrambling like, I don't know how to upload it. I don't know how to, I don't know how to do it, whatever, is so funny to me when I think about, like, if this is right, and what was actually going on is he is trapped on the phone with Candace, who believes Charlie's killed. He's alone, right? And he's like, and he's having to try to like navigate not sending the footage. It's like, it's just so funny because it's like, that's like the biggest mismatch ever. And he's like trapped in the headlights, and she's like, send it to me. What are you talking about? Why are you acting weird? He's like, ah. And then he said, I'm pretty sure that she said that he like got on the phone with someone, whatever, and he had to ask someone, and then they said something. If I'm right, guess who that was on the phone? I bet. You know what I mean? Let me see. Only thing. Oh, there we go. Only show if you want. Lady needs help for hubby now. Suboxone doc, 16 milligrams. Oof. Takes 80 to 90% withdrawals. Can still go to work after 2 to 3 weeks. Start taking 2 milligrams less every 5 to 6 days till off. Okay, first of all, you do not need 16 milligrams of Suboxone under any circumstances, unless talk to your doctor if that's what they tell you. But that is that stuff has a half-life that is so long that it will build. It is nearly, if you get on that stuff, you know what? Actually, I'm not giving any advice on this at all. Just go talk to a doctor. But be careful with that stuff because it is very, very, very hard to get off of. But if it's between that and someone who is hooked on fentanyl and is going to die, you know what I mean? Go talk to a doctor either way. One thing I will warn you of though, which is not medical advice, is Suboxone and fentanyl. Fentanyl is different than other things. Like a person who has, as an example, been hooked on oxycodone or hydrocodone, and then when they run out of those pills, they just take Suboxone, and that way they don't get sick, and they go on, off. I would warn a person that if they are now on fentanyl and they think they could do the same thing, they're going to be in an extraordinarily painful position if their system is similar to someone I know where they tried to do the same thing and they got sent directly into precipitated withdrawal from fentanyl. And so it is possible that person was me right before I went and did Ibogaine and quit forever. But all of those compounds are not the same. And I had, when I was hooked on those pills many years ago, I was on Suboxone. I got a prescription Suboxone. I'd go on and off because if I ran out, I'd just take Suboxone. That way, you don't get sick or whatever. And then when I accidentally kind of started taking fake oxys that had fentanyl in them. This is why I quit. This is exactly why I was like, okay, now this has gone to a point where, because I was never taking hard drugs ever. I was just taking, I was like an athlete that got hooked on fucking, Vicodin. And then I got sold a batch of fake oxycodone, which I suspected was probably fake because the consistency was very different. It was they were crumbly versus some of them were super hard. Some were crumbly. It wasn't rocket science. I knew they were probably fake. But by the time that I got a test and verified they were in fact fake, I had taken them for 2 days and hey, guess what happens when an opioid addict tries that? They're like, by then I loved them. So I was like, hey man, you sold me this fake shit. I want it at half price. That's how I handled that. So, 2 months later is when, 2 months later, because those things are impossible to dose, precisely. I took one and literally was like face on the table, nodding out, and I'm like, whoa. And so that was when I was like, okay, I need, I'm not I'm going to die. I could these, I'm risking my life taking these. This is very different than being on, hydrocodone. And so then, I started talking to the person about Ibogaine literally immediately after that. That's when I went and did that. And I've never taken one since. But as it relates to that, that's exactly what happened to me. I took a Suboxone off of and it threw me into withdrawal. So trust me, you don't want that to happen. Talk to your doctor. And I'm not suggesting anybody do Ibogaine, but it worked for me. Anyway, so San An Julo says, say it right. Oh, San An Julo. Oh, San An Julo. Okay. Got it. San An Julo, dude. Thank you for that. I will not make that mistake again. You skipped my super chat, dude. Scroll back up. Security putting up 10. Oh, okay. My bad. That's my bad, dude. My bad. Or my bad, girl. What about questioning? Wait, I skipped another one. Oh, there we go. Okay, so why was his whole security team at UVU to set up the tent instead of with Charlie? Baron show pics of it. Smash that like button. Why was his whole security team at UVU to set up the tent instead of with Charlie? Good question. almost like maybe there was something more complicated to the setup for that one than normal. You know what I mean? Almost like that. Oh, and by the way, if anybody is like that, the opioid topic, if you go to my videos, this one right here, this is my confession I put up 3 days ago. You can hear that entire story, like literally from how I got hooked on pills to when I stopped completely. And what it was like to do Ibogaine, which was quite the eye-opening experience. And there we go. Oh, some of them. Sorry, I was napping. Pain pretty bad today. Smash that like button and subscribe. It's all good, dude. All good. A Barnes, the farmer's pet. I will Google that as well. Victor Marks, being EK's mentor, should help you see her clearly. How do you fake the ring falling off that? Like that exact, yeah, the ring switching fingers. Pretty weird, dude. And someone was telling me that they felt like the hole on the neck looks super weird. I've never even looked super close at that. Like I said, my analysis has been all about the people and how they behaved. But Victor Marks, that is a weird ass dude, man. I had so much fun covering like when I did a couple videos about him, it's so easy, dude. He's like, yeah, they're all, have you ever killed a man? He's like, well, I am running for governor, but if I had murdered a bunch of people, I wouldn't tell you about it. They're all, so is that a yes? He's all, it's not a no. It's not a no. You're all, this is an interesting campaign strategy. Do you want to get into specifics? Well, I had to do yada, yada, yada. They go verified. It's like, this is just like something that happened between two people like anyway, he's a weird dude, man. He's a weird dude. All right. So it's my daughter's birthday. I got to jump. You guys are the best. Like I said, we're going to be doing nothing but talking about this, the plausible hoax case with Didi Got a Podcast tomorrow. It's at noon. And I will be doing Timcast IRL on September 1st. So make sure to watch that as well. Hopefully they're going to be nice. You know what I mean? Anyway, love you guys. See you soon. I got to knock down a video, then take my daughter to go celebrate her birthday. Bye-bye.